Hello, everyone, and we are today going to be learning about one of the most famous formations in all of soccer, the 4-4-2. There are a few ways to play this formation, but today we're going to start with the classic 4-4-2, or as I usually call it, the English style 4-4-2, because I normally think of the classic Manchester United teams of the 1990s using this formation because they had tons of success in it. So how does this work? Well, to start, we have two center backs and two outside backs here. Then we have two central midfielders. One of these might be more defensive, so think Roy Keane here, and one of these might be more offensive, Paul Scholes, but they could also be two box-to-box midfielders. We have two outside midfielders or wingers, and traditionally these are natural wingers. So we have a right-footed player on the right wing and a left-footed player on the left wing. Then we have two strikers up top. This formation can be an excellent one, especially in attacking teams that like to get the ball out wide and like to serve in crosses for their strikers. Also, defensively, this formation is very, very effective. And the reason for it is we can have two banks of four that the opposition has to break down, but also because we have two strikers up top, we have two players that can provide pressure and make the other team make mistakes. The 4-4-2 is an excellent formation for providing pressure against the other team's two central defenders, because unlike in formations which have one center forward, they now have equal numbers with the two center backs. However, now let's talk about some other forms of a 4-4-2. This one I like to associate more with South American soccer, and that is this form of a 4-4-2, which we could call this a 4-3-1-2. And what makes this different is in the central midfield, we now have a diamond formation. And this diamond formation has a bank of three here, anchored by the defensive midfielder right here. Then we have two more box-to-box midfielders and the classic number 10. So I like to think of this as where Diego Maradona might play, or Juan Roman Riquelme. And then we have our two strikers up top. And in this formation, one of the main differences is because our midfield is more central, we have to have our outside backs providing the width up in attack. So our outside backs on offense will have to push up high up the field to provide support. Also, in this formation, our central defenders, when our outside backs up, will have to provide a little bit of support as well. So what that means is that our defensive midfielder will drop in between them oftentimes and act almost as a third center back. So we end up in a position that looks more like this than an actual 4-4-2. But what I actually really love about the South American style 4-4-2 is the number 10 position. The number 10 is unfortunately a position that's falling out of favor in modern soccer. However, I love it because it is creativity, it is playmaking, and it is freedom. This player basically is allowed to go wherever they're needed on the field, wherever they want to help and provide support. They can also push up very high with the attacking players and the strikers and interchange positions with them to confuse and throw off defenders. So the classic number 10 is a free role that is allowed to go anywhere on the pitch that they please. Now, there is one more form of the 4-4-2 that we're going to discuss today. And this form I usually call a Brazilian style 4-4-2. So, how this one works is now we have a box central midfield. This form of the 4-4-2 is sometimes called a 4-2-2-2. And it very likely is a modification from the classic 4-2-4. But how this works now, we still have the 4 defenders, 2 center backs, and 2 outside backs. And once again, because the central midfield is very, very compact in the center, these players on the outside backs have to be able to get up and attack and have to be able to provide the width and attack. So that's probably why Brazil is known for their outside backs, be it Cafu, Roberto Carlos, Dani Alves, and Marcelo. They always have excellent outside wingbacks, which are both good in defense, but also maybe oftentimes known more for their attacking abilities in providing support and attack. Now, the difference between this and the other South American form of a 4-4-2 is now we have 2 creative free players in the midfield. So this could be Ronaldinho Gaucho and Kaká, or some other players. Then we have 2 more defensive midfielders. So oftentimes what it'll look like is one of them will be on the ball and the other push out. That way the other midfielder can support a little bit in attack this way. And then, of course, the opposite can be the case as well. So this might be Dunga and Gilberto Silva, someone like that. And this formation allows us to have these 2 central defensive midfielders that can anchor to support and allow our creative attacking players more freedom and more creativity. One other thing I really like about this formation is that it allows the front 4 to interchange. So a midfielder can make a run forward and the striker can actually come back to receive the ball. And that's something very common we see in Brazilian soccer. So a Ronaldo or Phenomenal might actually come back to receive the ball in the midfield because he is good at running at defenders and creating as well. And we'll have Kaká make a run forward in front of him so he can receive through balls into space and take advantage of his pace and finishing abilities. And of course, the other players can do that as well and have that freedom to interchange between the players. At the end of the day, the 4-4-2 is one of the classic and most popular formations in all of world soccer, and for a reason. It is both effective and versatile. And while it has slightly fallen out of favor for formations such as the 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, it is still a formation that has found success even today in the modern game. Thank you for watching.